here's Brody Brazil.
Well, okay, this is a video I never thought I'd be making, and actually it's going to sound quite awkward as I say it and as you hear it. Sharks centerman Tomas Hertl has been suspended by the NHL. Yeah, that's my reaction too. That'll probably be the thumbnail for this video. 2 games for what he did last night in facing Calgary, a game that unraveled for San Jose, but to start the third period, he and Elias Lindholm had an incident. Hertl took his stick to Lindholm. I'll go over what happened, but more importantly, what developed today in terms of the hearing and the ultimate 2-game suspension for Tomas Hertl. He will not play another game until after the Christmas break for the Sharks. Let me also say, in a weird way, in a double-edged sword way, I would be even more upset about this suspension if it happened in a time or in a season where the Sharks were ultra competitive in the standings. Like, you understand where they're at right now. But if every game and every shift and every player mattered to the end result of the season, I'm not saying it doesn't here, but you know, it's not quite the same as it has been in years past. This would really get under my skin. It's already frustrating. It's already mind-boggling, but at least, I guess, it's not something that's going to decide the Sharks' ultimate fate in a season, because in prior years, this could have been the case. Let me actually first begin with some things regarding Tomas that I can't defend. And you all know, I mean, he's fun-loving. I love him as a person, as a player, about as wholesome and innocent as it gets, right? I cannot defend any hockey player, including any Shark, deciding to use their stick as a full-blown weapon. And that was the case here. It could also be a skate boot sometimes, but anytime you're using equipment as a weapon, for me, that crosses the line. For me, that's a penalty or a fine or something worse, depending on what exactly it is that you do. We also, though, need to make clear that what Hertl was doing was instant and obvious retaliation to what Lindholm did. Off the drop of the puck, Lindholm was going right after Hertl, cross-checked him at least 2, if not maybe 3 times, right across his arm, up to the shoulder, somewhere in here. That hurts. And there was no need for that over and over and over again. So Lindholm started it. There's no question about that. But sometimes you, as the retaliator, are the one that gets caught. And in this case, gets disciplined for it. Lindholm, by the way, no penalty, no nothing. He jumps on the power play, scores there after the penalty. He also scored, was it like 16 seconds later, 2 goals within less than 40 seconds to start that period after drawing the penalty here. Let me also say with Hertl, I can't defend taking a stick up high to somebody. Is it different when it's down low in a thigh or a shin pad or somewhere that's protected? Maybe, but I also want to point out it wasn't Lindholm's head. Hertl did not hit him in the chin or the face or the forehead. It was right here. It was tactical and it was aimed right here, somewhere up here. Also wasn't the neck, fortunately. You could obviously see, though, how something like that could cause injury, and that's why I put it on here. I cannot defend taking a stick close to somebody's head. I cannot defend the penalty like it was a penalty, and if he were fined, I'm fine with that too. All of those things seem reasonable. It's just that going to a 2-game suspension seems a little overboard here. There's also some other things that hold true that need to be established here and evaluated. Tomas Hertl's history in this league, more than 600 games played, never been an offender of anything. In fact, he's been on the opposite side of a penalty and a suspension that should have happened. The famous one. Nope, take it back. That's not the right word. The infamous one. Knee on knee with Dustin Brown was that 2013, knocked Hertl out. I think the rest of that year he required surgery. That could have ended Tomas Hertl's hockey career, that big knee injury. Dustin Brown, was he fined for that? Was he suspended for that? If I recall correctly, there was no supplemental discipline. So if anything, NHL, you still owe Tomas Hertl 1 or 2 or a few. And I'm not here to make this video to say the league or anybody at the Department of Player Safety is against the Sharks. I think that's what a fan would say. That is far-fetched. That's a little much, but I'm just pointing out some trends here that always seem to go against the Sharks, or in this case, don't add up and don't make a lot of sense. It also holds true that he got cross-checked first. So when you think about it, he's a guy that doesn't start anything. Look at his history. He didn't start it here. He was the guy that got cross-checked to begin. There was no call, no referee defending him. Couldn't really move or get out of the way. He had to take it and not give it back. And then lastly here, his whack, even if he had struck Lindholm somewhere in the face, which, again, I'm not condoning that. I cannot defend that. Would it have caused serious injury, like miss weeks or months or any games type injury? Or was it, what a player might face when they get high stuck? Maybe cut you up a little bit at the worst. Leave a bruise, leave a mark at the worst. Again, it just has to be evaluated. If you didn't see this, I can't play the video here for you. I'll get busted on the YouTube channel with copyrights. But it's not like Hertl took a chop at him. He took a quick poke at him. And right here, just to send a message and to let Lindholm know that what he was doing was not great. So his whack was not likely, even at the very worst. I can't think of what the injury would even be, or it certainly wouldn't be a severe one. Okay, so now let's get to the NHL. Here's some things I don't think they can defend. Have they been watching the last month and a half of Sharks hockey? Did they see Nico Sturm get hit into the boards? Was that the game against the Rangers at SAP Center? Or how about Radim Šimek? Was that on the road where he took a chicken wing? Both Sharks players took hits to the head, and because of that, had to miss multiple games. Now, I understand those were on hockey plays, but those were opponents intentionally deciding to hit Sharks, finish off the play with some type of contact up high that had Shark players missing games. They got that hurt, right? Obviously concussed. Like the NHL and players in the league and their culture will never say that, but we know that. That's why you missed games. There was a penalty, I think, in the Rangers game. There was not on the Šimek hit. Regardless, neither one of those hits caused fines or suspensions. And here's Hertl taking a tactical and a calculated whack at Lindholm to do this on purpose, to retaliate and send a message. But then he is tagged with 2 games. The NHL cannot defend any type of consistency in the discipline they give. So let's not even say, was Hertl right or wrong? I'm talking about now that you say he's guilty and you need to do something about it. What defines a $5,000 fine versus 1 game versus 2 games? This could have even been 1 game, and I would have said, still don't agree, but we'll move on. Because it's 2 games, and because the Sharks have recently been on the other side of this with no explanation given, it does seem to hit you like cold water. Like, wait a second here. This doesn't seem right. This seems out of line. So I cannot, and I don't think the NHL can really defend themselves on those points right there. I do appreciate the little video they made today, the explainer video. I think the league needs to do more of that, being transparent, but they also need to come up with ultimately saying, here's why we're doling out this much of a penalty, or here's why we didn't. Like, let's go back to the Sturm and Šimek hits. Tell us why a chicken wing, right, to the head, to the jaw, that concusses your player. Tell me why that's not a penalty. It's fine if the officials missed it. I mean, really, it's not, but they're human. They're in the moment. It happens quick. Why the NHL, who gets hours and days afterwards to review this stuff, and they choose to pick some things and not others? Tell me why those were not penalized or those were not disciplined after the fact. So, yeah, I can't defend Hertl on everything. Want to be clear about that. But I certainly defend him and the Sharks in their case that this probably should not have been a suspension. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below.